The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself. Enthusiasm means putting emotion behind what you do and what you say. Does that make sense? Now let's go into two major skills that you need to develop to be a really great leader. And being a great leader means what? Leading yourself better, yes or no? Yes. The first is you need to have better emotional control. Is it okay if we talk a little bit about emotional control? Yes. By the way, you're looking at a very emotional person. I am, and I'm very sensitive. That's where all my power comes from. Being emotional has so much power in it. When I was a kid, I'll be honest with all of you. When I was a kid, I used to think, man, I wish I was a psychopath so I didn't have to have emotions, so these people couldn't hurt me. By the way, I don't know if any of you have had that thought before. Maybe you think I'm a crazy person. But really, sometimes I would get so hurt by my peers, by the people around me, maybe it wasn't even their fault, maybe it was myself, that I would say, I wish I didn't have these feelings because it hurt so much. But you know what I realized? Emotions is what makes life so colorful. Why do you watch a sad movie? Because sadness is a beautiful emotion. Even fear can be a beautiful emotion. Emotion is what makes life worth living. Imagine if we were just a robot. Hello, hi, yes. You think that would be a fun life? No. But when people go against their emotions, it's because they've lost control of them. And for a very long time, I didn't have full control over my emotions. So my emotions would use me instead of me using my emotions. Right? Imagine emotions being this powerful weapon. Once you learn how to use it, now you're gonna go faster than anyone else. But when it's using you, when it's forcing you to do things that you don't wanna do, that you're ashamed of, whatever, then it's taking over. So emotions are amazing once you learn to control and channel them. Does that make sense? And we'll talk about this. The first thing is, you cannot resist or get rid of an emotion, but you can redirect and leverage it. This is one of the things that I had to learn the hard way. If you resist emotions, you get unhealthy. If you resist emotions, you get a lot of issues that come up. You know, sometimes when you get anxiety and you're like, why am I anxious? That's because of a lot of emotions that you've resisted. Right? If you need to cry, cry. If you need to show a little bit of anger, show a little bit of anger. But that doesn't mean you go punch someone else. It means you take that anger and you go to the gym and have the best workout you've ever had. That's what using your emotion means. It means when you're done crying, you go, you know what, I'm gonna make such a big difference in this world. So you can't get rid of an emotion. As soon as you try to, a lot of unhealthy things are gonna happen within your internal body. But you can redirect your emotions and leverage it. So when you get sad, don't hold back the tears. Cry, and then when you're done crying, like, I want to kill it. And take that enthusiasm of sadness to your next meeting and see what happens. Haven't you ever heard someone give a speech while they're crying and you just got moved so much by it? Haven't you ever heard someone give a speech and they were angry and you got so moved by it? Probably something. I can probably. Sometimes you see someone like Brendan Bouchard in Vegas, right? Sometimes you see Brendan Bouchard get on stage with all the joy and happiness and you get moved by that too. Enthusiasm means putting emotion behind what you do and what you say. Does that make sense? Sometimes you can go to the gym and have the best workout while being sad. I've seen people go from skinny or overweight to being super fit because somebody broke up with them and broke their heart. Best personal trainer, heartbreak. I'm serious though. So learn to redirect your emotions. Don't get rid of them. Don't resist them. Don't try to hide from them. Don't try to run from them. Use your emotions. Don't be used by them. That's exactly what I just talked about. I'm ahead of my notes most of the time, as usual, right? But that's exactly what I mean. When you feel a certain emotion, here's what people do. Let me tell you what people do. They feel upset and they go, why am I upset? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself. So when you ask, why am I upset? Life shows you all the reasons you should be upset. And you know what happens? You get even more upset. Sometimes you get angry and you ask, why am I angry? And life shows you all the reasons you should be angry. This person didn't do this, that person didn't do this, that person, you lost. And then all of a sudden your anger goes to a different level. You just are sad sometimes because you're just sad. Sometimes you're just angry just because you're angry. Like sometimes I just wake up and I'm angry. No reason for it. I got good sleep, had good dreams, everything was fine. I get up, I'm like, doing all my stuff. Before, I used to look for people to blame and look for things to blame. I'm angry because this is happening. I'm angry because so-and-so did this. And that would rekindle all those angers and those negativities, and my day would be ruined. How did we? You know what I started doing? I started going, you know what, I'm angry. So what? Let's go to the gym and kill it. Boom. Let's go to this next call and give the best mentorship call I've ever given. For me, I don't know for you. Sometimes. Connor doesn't pick up the phone before 9 a.m. That's a good decision. That's a good decision, okay? Sometimes there's too much anger in that mentorship, okay? But the point that I'm making is that you don't need to justify your emotions, right? Sometimes couples get into fights because they keep trying to justify their independent emotions by blaming each other. I'm sad because 3 months ago you looked at me and I looked away too fast. What? What? But they have to justify, so they look for something. Does that make sense? Now, I'm using an exaggerated example, obviously, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So stop justifying your emotions. As a human being, you're like the weather. Some days it's raining, some days it's sunny, some days it's cloudy, some days it's snowy. Imagine if you went outside one day and people were like, why is it raining today? And there's like a group of them, I don't know why it's raining today. Bro, we figure it out. Stop. Like, you can go read something on Google. Just go home. But that's what people do with their emotions. Just let it be. Allow it to be. Allow yourself to be sad one day if you want to be sad. Allow yourself to be angry and stop blaming anything. And just use that emotion to be more productive. That's what it means to use your emotions, not get used by them.
Yeah.
Be patient. With who? With yourself. I'm not talking about other people. Be patient with the person you're the least patient with, which is you. Strong self-talk and perspective and affirmations. Yes, I understand that feeling sad is not always great. It's not always nice. Be patient with yourself. Sometimes you just need to be sad. I'm like, hey, if I need to be sad, I'll be sad. That's okay. And then you go about your day, do your activities, and if throughout the day you stop being sad, then great. If you continue being sad, then that's okay too. Does that make sense? But that takes patience. Because sometimes we okay, I went to the gym, I'm still angry. I called so-and-so and I'm still angry. That's okay. Be angry. That's me talking to myself, by the way. I'll wake up one day and I'm angry. And I go to the gym, I'm like, I'm still angry. I go to the sauna, I'm like, I'm even angry now. I go to the ice bath and I become the most angriest because like my testosterone goes to the roof and I'm like, no, I'm even angry. But I'm like, you know what, that's fine. I'm okay being angry. Let me just be angry today. And you know what happens? As soon as I become okay with it, it seems to go away. It's the same with anxiety. As soon as I stop fighting it, the anxiety goes away. When I'm fighting the anxiety, when I'm questioning, why am I anxious? Why is this happening? Well, this feels so bad. I'm sad that the anxiety gets even more powerful because I'm giving attention to it. As soon as I go, oh, I'm anxious, cool. And then I just go about my life, the anxiety finds a way to leave itself. You ever get distracted so much that you forget about your problems?
Yeah.
See, that's because you stop giving attention to them. You ever had a headache, and then you go and hang out with some friends and your headache goes away because you're having so much fun? Has that ever happened to anyone? Yeah. Because your attention went away from the headache. So what you give attention to, you give power to. So if you give attention to your anxiety, you get more of it. You give attention to your sadness, you get more. But if you just allow it to be and be okay with it, welcome it like a good friend. I started to actually do that. Now some of you are going to think I'm psychotic. It worked out for me though. I used to get anxiety. I'm like, hey, cool. I'm anxious. This is awesome. New challenge. What do you mean new challenge? Now I have a chance to practice overcoming my anxiety faster than I did yesterday. So I'm like, okay, what are some things that I can do to overcome my anxiety? Let me go work out. Let me do some breathing exercises. Let me do this. And then I'm like, oh, this worked. I'm feeling better. Then the next time I'll get better. So I started to look at it as a positive instead of a negative, and it started to become a positive for me. This is my opinion. I'm not saying this is what you should. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not nothing like that, right? This is just the things that worked for me, and it might work for you. Here are some habits that you can instill to help you manage your emotions. Meaning, to get better at switching emotions once you are at a place where you're fine with it. Listening to audio. What kind of audio? Inspiring videos, inspiring music, inspiring audiobooks, things that input positivity in your mind are a great way to manage some of our negative emotions. Okay? When you're angry, sometimes you listen to calming music, you chill out, it works. Sometimes you listen to some crazy music, it also helps. Sometimes you listen to like some like, I don't know, hard metal, some crazy rap, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, I'm not angry anymore, because this guy on the phone was way more angry than I was. Sometimes you're angry and I call you and you stop being angry, because like, this guy's way more angry. So, I don't need any more of my anger, this guy's got it. Exercise. Exercise is a great way for you to facilitate your emotions, right? When your heartbeat is going up, when your body's moving, okay, that's a great way for you to get yourself in a positive state. Meditation. I'm not a big meditator, but I've started doing guided meditation in the sauna. I'm not saying you should do that. I don't know if your doctor would recommend it, but it's just here's what meditation is. It's a moment where you're sitting still in the present. If there's thoughts, stop resisting the thoughts. So they're like meditating, I have a thought. That's fine. Here's the key, don't engage with the thoughts. That's it. When the thoughts go, when you're meditating, just watch the thoughts. Okay. If you read the book Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, he says watch your thoughts, don't engage with them. So when you're meditating in the moment, it's okay to do that. Punching bag, not a human, an actual punching bag. Pillows can fit into this as well, okay? Somebody were like, punching bag, I got a friend. No. Pillows, actual boxing bags, whatever. Don't punch him, please. He's a nice guy. Associations. When you get around people that you trust, that you care about, sometimes it's when you talk about your feelings, sometimes when you talk about how things are, it makes it easier to overcome them. Give it time. Sometimes you just need to give it time. Thoughts and self-talk. Journaling. Journaling is a great way for you to put your thoughts on. One of my notebooks at home, I haven't used it in a while. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just letting you know. I made this notebook maybe 3 years ago, and I used it for a good 6 months. I called it my Book of Fears. That was what it was called. And in the description, I have it. If you guys, I can bring it. None of you will be able to read the handwriting, but I can read it for you. But in the book I wrote, this is where I'm going to write down all the fears that I have, and I'm going to break it down on paper, become aware of it, and find solutions for it. So then every page, there was a new fear. I had this fear, boom, I write it down. Why do I have it? Is it logical? You know what that would help me do? It would help me become aware of my own thinking. Sometimes we're not aware of our thinking, and that's where a lot of our sadness or anger is coming from. When you put it on paper and become aware of it, now you can do something about it. Now you can change it. Gratitude list. It's hard to be sad, angry, whatever, when you're so grateful. And you don't have to make a list. You can just take a moment and just be grateful. That could be part of your meditation. Meditate on the things you're grateful for. Goals and why lists, right? I remember Grant Cardone, he said it in one of his videos. Every time he would get a rejection, every time he would go to his car and write down his goals. Because you know what it would do? It would take him away from the failure, and it would put him back on path to success. And guess what? He probably got rejected way more than he heard yeses. So how many times a day was he thinking about his goals? All the time. That's why he achieved them. Or do something fun. Sometimes you need to get your mind off of it. Go play a video game. Go take your dog for a walk. Whatever. Do something fun, and you'll find that, hey, your emotions kind of take care of themselves. Be healthy. Sometimes when you have digestion problems, when you're waking up and you're not so for it, let me say something. There was times in my life where I wasn't getting good sleep, and it was the most depressing time of my life. Not because anything was happening, it was just because I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe you're different, but sleep affects me so much. So sometimes, to help you overcome some of your mental health issues, you just need to get better sleep. Better bedtime routine, better wake-up routine, relax yourself, calm yourself, whatever you need to do, because when you get good sleep, a lot of things get taken care of.